Happiness is not a destination. It's not a place you arrive at when everything in your life is finally perfect. It's not waiting for the promotion, the new relationship, the perfect weight, or the next vacation. Happiness is a decision. It's a choice, a sacred act of reclaiming your power every single day. And it begins right where you are, not where you hope to be. It starts in the morning when you open your eyes and ask yourself, what energy am I choosing today? Most people spend their entire lives chasing happiness, like it's a butterfly fluttering just out of reach. They say, I'll be happy when, and that when becomes a prison. They're waiting for permission to feel joy, waiting for someone else to validate them, for life to finally treat them kindly, for something to go their way. But happiness doesn't show up at your door like a delivery. It's something you have to cultivate from the inside out. It doesn't come because of what happens to you. It comes because of how you choose to respond. When you wake up in the morning, you have two choices. You can drag yesterday's disappointments, grudges, and fears into today like baggage weighing down your spirit. Or you can start fresh like the sun rising after the darkest night, choosing to live with gratitude, choosing to see beauty, choosing joy even when it's hard. Even when the world feels heavy, there is still a soft whisper inside you, reminding you that peace. Happiness is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's not about toxic positivity or ignoring your pain. It's about being honest with yourself, sitting with your feelings, allowing yourself to be exactly as you are, messy, real, human, and still finding reasons to smile. It's looking in the mirror and saying, I accept you. I love you. I choose joy even in the middle of this chaos. Some days, happiness will feel like a warm hug. Other days, it might feel like a flicker of light, barely glowing in the corner of your soul. But if you protect it, nourish it, and return to it daily, it will grow. It will become your default state, not because everything is easy, but because you've learned to trust yourself. You've learned to be your own sanctuary. One of the most powerful ways to invite happiness into your life every day is through gratitude, not performative gratitude, not just writing 3 things in a journal and moving on, but truly feeling thankful, noticing the little things. The way sunlight spills across your floor, the sound of laughter in another room, the smell of your coffee in the morning, the way your body carries you through the world, even on the hard days, when you shift your perspective to see the blessings already in your life. Happiness isn't something to reach for. It's already here. You must also learn the power of presence. So many of us live everywhere but the now. We replay the past. We worry about the future. We compare ourselves to others and we miss this moment, the only one we ever truly have. There is magic in the present. There is happiness in this breath, this heartbeat, this sacred now. When you anchor yourself in the present, you begin to notice things you used to overlook. Another key to daily happiness is learning to protect your peace. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. You have to be mindful of what you allow into your space, who you listen to, what you consume, how you speak to yourself. Peace is a choice, and sometimes that means setting boundaries. Sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means walking away. Sometimes it means choosing solitude over noise. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. You can't pour into others when your own cup is empty. And let me say this, you don't have to earn happiness. You don't have to achieve a certain level of success or prove your worth. You are already enough, just as you are. Right now, with your imperfections, your scars, your unhealed parts, you are still worthy of joy, still worthy of rest, still worthy of laughter. Don't let society tell you that happiness comes after the hustle. It doesn't. Happiness is your birthright. It's the language of your soul. It's the home you return to when the world grows loud. Daily happiness also comes from doing the things that light you up. Not just the big things, but the small rituals that make you feel alive. Dance in your living room, sing in the shower, read books that stir your spirit, cook meals with love, spend time with people who see you, hear you, understand you. Chase what makes you feel free. Creativity, connection, expression, these are all gateways to joy. Life isn't meant to be survived, it's meant to be lived. Fully, deeply, bravely. Another essential ingredient is forgiveness. Carrying bitterness, resentment, or anger is like holding on to burning coal, expecting someone else to get hurt. It only harms you. Forgiveness isn't about saying what they did was okay. It's about saying you deserve peace. Forgive others, not because they always deserve it, but because you do. Forgive yourself, too, for not knowing better, for staying too long, for being too hard on yourself. You are doing the best you can with what you got, and that is enough. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, that life is against you, that happiness is impossible, you'll create a life that reflects that. But if you begin to shift your inner dialogue, even slightly, you'll start to feel a change. Speak kindly to yourself. Be your own encourager. Remind yourself daily that you are powerful, resilient, and loved. Because happiness is not just a feeling, it's a vibration. It's the frequency you emit when you're aligned with your truth. Let go of the need for perfection. Perfection is the enemy of joy. You don't need to have it all figured out to feel good. You don't need to be anyone else. You don't need to fit into a mold. You just need to be authentic. Show up as you, the real you, flawed, growing, radiant. When you stop trying to impress and start living in your truth, happiness flows more naturally because you're no longer performing, you're simply being. Make peace with your journey. Your path may look different from others. You may be moving slower, you may have taken detours, but every step has brought you closer to who you are meant to be. Comparison is a thief. It robs you of the joy in your own life. Celebrate your progress, honor your growth, trust your timing. Happiness comes when you stop racing and start embracing. Spend time in nature. Let the earth remind you of the beauty of simply existing. Watch how trees sway in the wind without resistance. Notice how flowers bloom in their own time. Observe how the sun rises and sets without apology. Nature doesn't rush, but everything gets done. You are part of that same rhythm. Slow down, breathe deeper, ground yourself. Connection matters. Real connection, not just scrolling or liking, but soul deep presence with others. Share your story. Listen without judgment. Be vulnerable. Create spaces where others can be seen and heard. Human connection is one of the greatest sources of daily joy. It reminds us that we're not alone, that someone else understands, that love is real. And remember, joy is not the absence of struggle, it's the presence of hope. It's the choice to keep showing up, to keep loving, to keep dreaming, even when the world tells you to give up. Even when your heart is heavy, even when you're tired, joy is defiant. It's radical. It's revolutionary. And it belongs to you. You don't need to wait for a special occasion to be happy. Life is the occasion. Every day you wake up is a miracle. Every breath is a reminder that you're still here, still becoming, still able to write your story. Don't waste this life chasing what doesn't feed your soul. Don't spend it waiting for something that's already inside you. You hold the key. Happiness is a practice. Like any practice, it takes intention. It takes showing up even when it's hard. But the more you return to it, the more natural it becomes. Let it be simple. Let it be sacred. Let it be yours. You deserve to be happy. Not someday, but every day. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are choosing to see the light even in the dark. Choosing to rise, choosing to bloom, choosing to be whole. The world needs your joy. Your happiness is not a luxury, it's an offering. When you are happy, you give others permission to be too. When you are lit up from within, you light the way for others. So don't dim your shine. Don't hold back your laughter. Don't shrink to fit into spaces that can't hold your radiance. Show up. Every day, with gratitude in your heart, with hope in your step, with love in your voice. Choose joy even when it's quiet. Choose happiness even when it's small. Choose yourself again and again and again. Because your joy matters. Your peace matters. Your happiness is worth fighting for. There's something sacred about the way happiness quietly asks us to come home to ourselves. It never shouts. It doesn't chase. It waits patiently, tenderly, in the silence between thoughts, in the breath between rushes, in the stillness we avoid because it forces us to face who we really are. But in that silence there is peace, and in that peace there is joy. Most people are so busy trying to become someone else that they forget the miracle of who they already are. They build masks and wear them for years trying to be what the world applauds. They chase degrees, titles, praise, applause, money, fame, and when they get it, they still feel empty. Because happiness doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being real, being honest, being aligned with your soul. Your soul doesn't want you to impress anyone. It doesn't want you to be perfect. It wants you to be free. It wants you to dance in your truth, to walk barefoot in your authenticity, to cry when you need to laugh from your belly, to scream when necessary, to love like it's the only thing that matters. Your soul knows happiness is not outside, it's within, waiting to be remembered. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not failing. You are unfolding, blooming in your own time. Everyone's journey is different, and that's what makes this life so exquisitely beautiful. Some flowers bloom early, others take longer, but each one has its moment under the sun. Don't rush your becoming. Don't force your joy. Trust that where you are right now is preparing you for everything you've asked for. However, joy doesn't always show up with fireworks. Sometimes it's subtle. A soft exhale after a long day. A phone call with someone who gets you. The sound of birds in the morning. The way your favorite sweater hugs your skin. These are not insignificant. They are sacred. They are reminders that even in a world that often feels overwhelming, there is still so much beauty. And beauty invites happiness. Every person you meet is carrying something, a heartbreak, a hope, a dream they're afraid to speak aloud. We're all walking through this life trying to make sense of it, trying to find meaning, trying to matter. When you choose happiness, you don't just lift yourself, you lift everyone around you. Your smile becomes a light in someone's darkness. Your kindness becomes a ripple. Your joy becomes a healing force. You have the power to change the energy in a room just by being fully present. You don't need to say a word. Just being rooted in your joy, in your truth, in your peace. It changes things. It softens people. It reminds them of what's possible. That kind of happiness is contagious, it's transformational, and it's real, but you must be willing to let go of what weighs you down. Old stories, painful memories, self-talk. You can't carry the past and embrace joy at the same time. You have to put it down. You have to choose lightness. You have to believe that you are more than your mistakes, more than your pain, more than your failures. You are a masterpiece and a work in progress, and there is no shame in that. So many of us are walking through life trying to be strong, trying not to cry, trying not to feel too much. But strength is not about how much you can suppress. Real strength is soft. It's tender. It allows space for vulnerability. It allows space for joy. When you give yourself permission to feel everything, happiness finds a way in. Not because you've silenced your sorrow, but because you've created room for everything to coexist. Happiness doesn't mean never being sad. It means knowing you can move through sadness and still find your way back to joy. It means trusting that even when life breaks you open, something beautiful can grow in the cracks. It means believing in your own resilience. And that belief, that unshakable faith in yourself, is the soil in which joy blooms. There are people who will try to make you feel guilty for being happy, for laughing too loudly, for loving too freely, for enjoying your life while they are still struggling. Don't let their pain steal your peace. You are not responsible for anyone else's journey. You can hold space for their sorrow without shrinking your joy. You can have empathy and still choose to dance. Your happiness does not diminish your compassion. It amplifies it. Learn to celebrate yourself, not just the big wins, but the small ones too. Getting out of bed on a hard day, speaking kindly to yourself, setting a boundary, letting go of what no longer serves you. Every step forward is worth honoring. Don't wait for the world to clap for you. Be your own cheerleader. Stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm proud of you, because you deserve that kind of love. From yourself, most of all. You may have been taught that happiness comes after sacrifice, that you have to give and give and give until there's nothing left, that you must earn your joy through suffering, but that's not the truth. Your joy does not have to be transactional. You don't have to pay a price for it. You are allowed to be happy simply because you're alive, simply because you're here. So many people live their lives for other people's approval. They stay in relationships that drain them. They take jobs they hate. They follow paths that don't feel right, all because they're afraid of disappointing someone else. But every time you abandon yourself to please others, a part of your happiness fades. You deserve a life that fits you, not one that looks good from the outside, but feels empty inside. Start asking yourself, what makes your soul come alive? What brings you joy that doesn't depend on anyone else? What do you do that makes time disappear? Those are the things that connect you to happiness. Follow them, prioritize them, build a life around them. Because when you are aligned with your truth, happiness is not a goal, it's a side effect. Let your joy be messy, unapologetic, loud. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Don't wait until you lose the weight or make the money or find the right partner. Live now. Love now. Laugh now. You are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress. You are allowed to be healing and still happy. You are allowed to take up space with your joy. Don't let the news, the noise, or the negativity of the world harden you. Stay soft. Stay open. Stay hopeful. It's easy to become numb, easy to become cynical. But happiness asks you to stay awake, to feel everything, to believe that even in the darkest times, there is still light, still love, still beauty, still you. Make joy your rebellion. In a world that profits from your self-doubt, choosing happiness is revolutionary. Choosing to love yourself, to laugh without shame, to dance like no one is watching, It's radical, and it's necessary. You deserve a life that feels like freedom, a life that feels like home. Every morning is a new invitation, an opportunity to begin again, to shake off the weight of yesterday and step into the possibility of today. Start your mornings not with dread, but with intention. Ask yourself, what do I need to feel good today? What will nourish me? What will bring me joy? And then honor that. Honor yourself. Happiness doesn't mean ignoring what's wrong. It means choosing to focus on what's right. It means seeing the blessings even when you're grieving. It means finding light in the cracks. It means holding space for pain and still choosing to smile. It's not one or the other, it's both. That's what makes it real. There will be days when happiness feels far away, when you're tired, when your heart is heavy, when the world feels too loud. On those days, be gentle with yourself. Don't chase joy, just rest. Breathe. Trust that it will return, because it always does. Joy is not a stranger, it's your essence, and it never truly leaves you. It just waits for you to come back. You are allowed to outgrow people, places, and versions of yourself that no longer align with your joy. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to start over. Don't stay stuck in something just because it once made you happy. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away and choose peace. Life is a series of moments. Some will break you, some will build you, all of them shape you. But your happiness is not found in what happens to you, it's found in how you show up, in how you love, in how you choose to keep going, keep believing, keep dreaming. Joy is the compass. Let it guide you. Your presence is a miracle, not because of what you've done, not because of what you've earned, but simply because you are. That is enough. You do not need to prove your worth to be happy. You do not need to strive endlessly to deserve joy. You are inherently worthy. From the moment you took your first breath, you were enough. And each day that you choose to live with openness, with honesty, with love, you reaffirm that worth. But we live in a world that tries to convince us otherwise, a world that whispers constantly that we must be better, do more, achieve faster, look different. It is relentless, and in the noise of that pressure, it is easy to forget the truth. That happiness is not a finish line. It is not a result of perfection. It is not something that waits at the top of the mountain. It is in the climb, in the stumble, in the getting back up again. Every moment holds the invitation. You willing to accept it? Let yourself be loved. By others, yes, but first and foremost, by you. Let yourself receive. Let yourself excel. Let yourself be held by grace. There is nothing selfish about prioritizing your joy. There is nothing arrogant about believing in your light. The world doesn't benefit from your suffering. It benefits when you rise. When you live lit from within, when you stop waiting for a special occasion to smile. Your life is the occasion. There is magic in doing the small things that bring you back to yourself. Lighting a candle that smells like a memory. Drinking tea slowly on a quiet morning. Saying a kind word to a stranger. Reading a book that opens your heart. There is no grand formula for happiness. Sometimes it is tucked into the most ordinary moments, but the more you practice seeing it, the more you realize it was never hidden. Suddenly, your attention was elsewhere. And there's something powerful that happens when you stop apologizing for your joy, when you stop shrinking so others can feel comfortable, when you stand in the sunlight of your life and say, this is mine. I will not dim for anyone. That kind of boldness does not come from ego. It comes from deep acceptance, from knowing you have walked through storms and you are still here, that is something to celebrate. You don't need to be extraordinary to be happy. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to have millions of followers or dollars or likes. All you need is a heart that is open, a mind that is curious, a soul that is present. Some of the happiest people you'll ever meet live the simplest lives. They plant gardens, they take long walks, they know their neighbors, they listen more than they speak. They are at peace because they are rooted in what truly matters. And maybe that's the secret, not in doing more, but in doing less, more intentionally, more soulfully, more lovingly, learning to slow down and savor, learning to notice, learning to be where you are fully. Because so many people miss their lives while chasing a future they never stop long enough to enjoy. But you, if you choose, you can be different. You can be present. You can be awake. Gratitude is the language of joy. It is the thread that weaves ordinary moments into sacred ones. When you begin to give thanks for what you already have, you open the door to more. Not because you are asking, but because you are ready. The universe responds to appreciation with abundance, not always in material ways, but always in meaningful ones. And that meaning is what gives happiness its depth. Try this. Each day, name 3 things that bring you joy. Not big things necessarily, just true ones. The warmth of the sun on your skin, a kind message from a friend, the way your favorite song makes your body move. These are not random. These are guideposts, reminders that happiness lives in the now, in the noticing, in the choosing. And when pain comes, as it inevitably does, let it come. Don't resist it. Don't pretend it's not there. Feel it fully. And then, when it has moved through you, let it go. Do not build your home in the sorrow. Do not wrap your identity in it. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. And every day gives you the opportunity to choose again, to begin again, to believe again. Joy is not something you earn. It is something you allow. It is not reserved for the healed or the wealthy or the lucky. It is available to you right now, exactly as you are, even in the mess, even in the chaos, even in the uncertainty, especially there. Because when you choose happiness, despite the storm, you become the calm. You become the light. You don't need everything to make sense. You don't need the perfect partner or the dream job or the right number on the scale. You just need to stop waiting. Stop waiting for Friday. Stop waiting for summer. Stop waiting for someone to love you the way you long to be loved. Be the one who gives that love first to yourself and then naturally to the world. No one else can do this for you. No one else can climb inside your mind and shift the narrative. You have to be the one who decides that you are enough, that you deserve peace, that you are worthy of joy, that despite everything, you will not abandon yourself. You will not betray your own light just to keep someone else comfortable in their darkness. Happiness is radical because it requires courage. The courage to let go. The courage to forgive. The courage to be misunderstood. The courage to love anyway. It is not for the faint of heart. It takes strength to wake up and choose joy when the world gives you every reason to feel small. But you are not small. You are expansive. You are the whole sky pretending to be a single star. Let your happiness be the resistance. Let your laughter be the protest. Let your peace be the revolution. Because a happy person is not easily controlled. They are not easily manipulated. They know their value. They know what matters. They are grounded in themselves. and no storm can shake that foundation. And don't be afraid of being alone. Sometimes solitude is the sacred space in which you discover yourself. It is not a punishment, it is a path. A deep, intimate invitation to know who you are when the noise fades. When the mirrors of others are no longer defining you. In that quiet, you find your voice. And in your voice, you find your power. You see the world, the way you laugh, the way you love, it matters. Your existence matters, and the more you align with that truth, the more magnetic your happiness becomes, not just for you, but for everyone you encounter. You don't have to carry everything. Some things are meant to be set down. Some battles are not yours to fight. Some wounds are not yours to carry. Let go of what does not belong to you. Make space for joy, for peace, for breath, for stillness. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is to simply rest. Rest, not because you are weak, but because you are wise. Because you know that your worth is not measured in exhaustion. Because you are done proving. Because you have nothing to earn. Because you are already enough. And from that place of enoughness, everything blooms. Oh, open your heart, even if it's been broken. Open your hands, even if they're tired. Open your eyes, even if they've cried. Open yourself to the possibility that today can be different, that this moment holds the key, that you are not who you were, you are who you choose to become. And joy, sweet, wild, uncontainable joy is always ready to meet you there. There comes a moment in each of our lives when we are called to pause, to reflect, and to ask ourselves the difficult questions. Who am I really? Am I living for others' expectations, or am I living in alignment with the truth of my soul? Too often, we're conditioned to look outside for validation, constantly measuring our worth by the noise of the world, the applause of others, and the standards that were never ours to begin with. But if we're ever going to rise, if we're ever going to step into the fullness of who we are meant to be, then we must learn to focus on ourselves and shift our energy inward. This isn't selfishness. This is sacred responsibility. Because when you are grounded in your truth, when your energy is rooted in clarity, intention, and love, you not only transform your life, you uplift every soul you touch. But it starts with focus, not the kind of focus that strains or forces. I'm talking about conscious, gentle, deliberate attention. Attention to your thoughts, to the stories you tell yourself in the silence of your mind. Attention to how you spend your mornings, your evenings, your hours in between. Because every moment is a choice. And each choice is a seed. What you water grows. So what have you been watering in your life? Have you been giving all your energy to distractions, to fears that don't belong to you, to people who do not see your value? Have you been placing your power in the hands of those who have no idea how to hold it? It's time to pull that energy back, reclaim it, pour it into your own becoming, because the truth is, your attention is your currency, and you are too rich to keep spending it on things that do not feed your soul. There is a version of you that is waiting on the other side of your excuses, a version of you that knows how to be still in chaos, that walks with grace through uncertainty, that no longer craves permission to exist fully. That version is not far. She is not a stranger. She is you when you finally decide to turn inward and listen, when you decide to stop running, stop blaming, stop looking at everyone else's path and comparing yours. when you stop shrinking to fit in rooms you've outgrown. Let's talk about energy. Your energy introduces you before you speak. It is the silent language that echoes through your presence. And it doesn't lie. You can smile, dress up, and pretend, but if your energy is depleted, bitter, resentful, or fearful, the world will feel it. You feel it. So ask yourself, what energy are you bringing into your relationships, into your work, into your own body when you wake up in the morning? It matters. Because energy is magnetic. What you send out returns. Not always in the way you expect, but always in resonance with what you carry within. And here's the thing about shifting your energy. It doesn't mean faking positivity. It means aligning with authenticity. It means feeling your emotions fully, but not drowning in them. It means learning the art of transmutation, turning your pain into purpose, your loss into wisdom, your challenges into fuel. It means no longer being at war with yourself. So many of us walk through life in silent battles, wearing masks that smile while hearts cry. We become masters of pretending, experts at hiding our true selves to meet the expectations of others. But pretending is exhausting. Pretending drains your soul. Healing, on the other hand, restores it. When you focus on yourself, not in the shallow sense of vanity or ego, but in the deep, honest sense of growth, you begin to change the game. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop settling and start creating. You realize that the world outside reflects the world within. And suddenly, you stop needing everyone to understand your journey because you understand it. You honor it. You trust it. You don't need everyone to believe in your dream. You need to believe in it. You don't need applause to validate your worth. Your worth is intrinsic. You don't need every door to open. You just need the right one. And it starts with you walking with intention, knowing that where you place your energy determines what grows. If you place it on fear, fear grows. If you place it on faith, miracles grow. And we live in a time of constant noise. Social media, opinions, expectations, trends, pressure. It's easy to get lost, easy to forget what your own voice sounds like. But when you pause, when you get quiet, when you go inward, you remember. You remember that you are more than your mistakes, more than your past, more than what they said about you. You are a soul having a human experience, and your power lies in the present moment, always. You are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress. You are allowed to rest, to take up space, to let go of the old version of yourself without apology. There's this lie we've been sold, that we have to hustle endlessly to be worthy, that we have to prove our value through productivity. But your value is never tied to how much you do. It's tied to who you are. And who you are at your core is already enough. What the world needs is not another perfect person. What the world needs is a real one. Someone who dares to love themselves in a world that profits from self-doubt. Someone who chooses authenticity over approval. Someone who isn't afraid to shift gears, walk away, start again, and grow wildly. And yes, growth is uncomfortable. Yes, healing is messy. Yes, letting go hurts. But staying stuck hurts more. Playing small hurts more. Living a life that doesn't belong to you hurts more. So let go. Let go of trying to fix people who don't want to be fixed. Let go of waiting for closure that may never come. Let go of carrying burdens that aren't yours. Let go of trying to fit into narratives that shrink your spirit. Instead, turn toward yourself. Ask, what do I need today? What do I feel? What brings me joy? Not performance joy, not performative happiness, but true soul joy. Ask yourself, what would life look like if I stopped waiting for approval and gave myself permission to be fully alive? What would shift in your energy if you chose to celebrate yourself? Not for what you've done, but simply for surviving. for showing up, for still having hope after all you've been through. Some people won't understand your journey. Some people will misinterpret your silence, your strength, your boundaries. Let them. You're not here to convince anyone. You're here to live truthfully. You're here to love deeply. You're here to evolve. And sometimes evolution means separation. Sometimes self-love looks like saying no, like walking away, like choosing peace over people-pleasing. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. Fold your healing. Focus on your healing. Focus on your dreams. Focus on your growth. Shift your energy away from what drains you and toward what inspires you. Choose environments that celebrate your presence, not just tolerate it. Surround yourself with people who speak life into you, not those who belittle your light. But most importantly, be that person for yourself. Speak life into yourself. Be your own sanctuary. Be your own mirror of love, grace, and truth. Because here's what I know. When you begin to show up for yourself, everything changes. The way you walk into a room, the way you talk to yourself, the way you bounce back from disappointment, the way you hold your head high after being knocked down, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger. Not because the world changes, but because you do. Your energy is sacred. Protect it. Your time is precious. Invest it wisely. Your presence is powerful. Own it. You are not too much. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are a force, a light, a living, breathing miracle. So walk like it. Live like it. Breathe like it. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be willing. Willing to begin again. Willing to take the next step even when the whole path isn't clear. Willing to trust yourself. Willing to choose love over fear. Willing to be seen. Willing to rest. Willing to rise. And you will rise not by accident, not by luck, but by choice, by intention, by grace. When you stop outsourcing your worth and start honoring your soul, when you stop chasing validation and start embodying your truth, when you focus on yourself and shift your energy from fear to faith, from doubt to trust, from chaos to clarity, that is when the magic happens. That is when you become who you were always meant to be. You are not behind. Life is not a race. There is no timeline you're meant to meet, no finish line you're expected to cross at the same pace as everyone else. The path you walk is yours alone. And that's the beauty of it. Your journey was never meant to mirror anyone else's. You are not late, you are not lost, you are on your way. And every step, every pause, every detour is part of that becoming. When you shift your energy from comparison to confidence, from impatience to presence, you begin to see the wisdom in divine timing. You begin to recognize that the universe doesn't rush. The stars don't compete. The ocean doesn't apologize for its depth. Why should you? Take a breath right now, a deep one. Inhale peace, exhale pressure. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your mind release all the stories about where you think you should be. Be here with yourself fully, without judgment, without shame, without needing to be more, because in this moment, you are enough. And when you begin to truly understand that, not just intellectually, but emotionally, spiritually, physically, everything shifts. The world is always pulling your attention, but you have the power to decide what gets your energy. And that power is sacred. It's your boundary, it's your compass, it's your responsibility, because you cannot give from an empty well. You cannot pour light into the world if you're constantly drained, constantly trying to meet expectations that were never yours to carry. When you begin to reclaim your attention, you reclaim your life, and that reclamation is radical. It's the beginning of true transformation. You begin to see what matters and what never did. You begin to realize that some things are not yours to fix. Some people are not yours to save. Some wounds are not yours to carry. And when you release them, when you put them down, you make space for healing. You make space for growth. You make space for the things that were always meant for you, but couldn't find their way through the clutter. Sometimes we're not missing blessings. Sometimes we're too crowded for them to land. So clear the space. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, energetically. Let go of what dims your spirit. Let go of what feels heavy every time you think about it. Let go of roles that you've outgrown, beliefs that keep you small, routines that numb you rather than nurture you. Replace them with rituals of self-love, with practices that center you, with thoughts that remind you of your worth, not your wounds. You are not here to just survive. You are here to live, to thrive, to evolve into the most expansive version of yourself. But that requires presence. It requires honesty. It requires the courage to look in the mirror and say, I choose me. Choosing yourself does not mean abandoning others. It means including yourself in the equation. It means saying yes to what aligns and no to what doesn't. It means honoring your needs, respecting your boundaries, and giving yourself the same grace you so easily offer to others. We are often so quick to forgive others, but hold ourselves hostage to past mistakes. But your growth should not be defined by who you were. It should be defined by who you're becoming. Every version of you, past, present, and future, deserves compassion. There is no weakness in rest, no shame in slowing down. The world will have you believe that your worth lies in how much you produce, how much you achieve, how much you give. But you are not a machine. You are a living, breathing being with emotions, dreams, fatigue, intuition. And when you ignore your body's signals, when you override your spirit's whispers, you lose yourself. Rest is resistance. Rest is necessary. Rest is a form of love. It's how you recharge your light so that you can keep shining. So many of us are waiting for the right time, waiting for clarity, waiting for someone to say it's okay to be who we are. But the permission you seek must come from within. Stop waiting to be chosen. Choose yourself. Stop waiting for validation. Validate yourself. Stop waiting for the storm to pass before you bloom. Some flowers only bloom in the rain. Be one of them. Be bold enough to grow even when it's messy. Be brave enough to bloom even when it's uncertain. Growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes growth is quiet. It's saying no when you used to say yes. It's choosing peace over proving a point. It's staying soft in a world that wants you hardened. It's standing up for yourself with love, not aggression. It's waking up and deciding to try again. That is growth. And that is enough. You don't need to be extraordinary to be worthy. Your existence is the miracle. The fact that your heart beats, that you breathe, that you feel, that alone makes you significant. You do not need to earn your place here. You belong in every room you walk into, in every dream you dare to have, in every version of your story. You are enough. Even when you are evolving, even when you are uncertain, even when you are still learning how to love yourself, you are allowed to change. You are allowed to wake up one day and realize that what once made sense no longer does. You are allowed to shift, to dream new dreams, to desire more. That is not inconsistency, that is growth. Life is not meant to stay the same. You are not meant to stay the same. You are here to expand, to stretch beyond your limits, to discover new depths of your own power. And that power is real. It's not loud, it's not boastful, but it's steady. It's the power of knowing who you are, of being grounded in your truth, of not needing to explain your worth to anyone. That power comes from within, and once you find it, once you claim it, no one can take it from you. Not rejection, not failure, not even heartbreak, because those things do not define you. They shape you. They sharpen you, but they do not break you. You are stronger than your past, braver than your fears, wiser than your mistakes. You have overcome so much already. Why stop now? Every chapter has led you here. And this chapter right now is calling you to rise, to step out of survival mode and into sovereignty, to stop reacting and start creating, to stop waiting and start becoming, to focus not on what went wrong, but on what is still possible, because so much is still possible. So much is waiting for you on the other side of your belief is the key. Not belief in the world, not belief in perfection, but belief in yourself. That kind of belief moves mountains. It doesn't require evidence. It doesn't require certainty. It requires trust, faith, a willingness to keep showing up even when you're scared, a commitment to loving yourself through every season, every transition, every transformation. And transformation is not always glamorous. Sometimes it looks like crying on the floor. Sometimes it looks like deleting contacts that no longer serve your peace. Sometimes it looks like eating alone, choosing solitude over chaos. Sometimes it looks like being misunderstood, being alone, being underestimated. But in those moments, your soul is being refined. Your strength is being revealed. Your light is being reignited. Don't fear the fire. You were made for it. You are not fragile. You are fierce. Stop apologizing for your magic. Stop toning yourself down so others can feel comfortable. Stop waiting for the world to reflect back what you already know to be true. You are enough. You are powerful. You are needed just as you are right now. Not after you lose the weight, not after you get the promotion, not after you're healed, but now. As is your healing matters, your peace matters, your joy matters. And it's okay if not everyone understands your journey. It's okay if people fall away. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people are lessons, not lifelines. Some seasons are meant to end so new ones can begin. Trust the flow, trust the pruning, trust the unfolding. You don't have to force what's meant for you. You don't have to chase what's already aligned. Just keep showing up, keep doing the inner work, keep shifting your energy back to love, back to truth, back to presence. And in those moments when doubt creeps in, because it will, come back to your breath, come back to your body, come back to the knowing that you are more than enough. You've survived every hard day so far. You've made it through things you never thought you could. That resilience is inside you. That wisdom is yours. That light belongs to you. This is your invitation to focus inward, to come home to yourself, to stop abandoning your needs for the comfort of others, to stop minimizing your worth in the name of humility, to stop betraying your truth to avoid discomfort. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to be deeply, wildly, unapologetically you. So keep choosing yourself, keep loving yourself, keep rising. Because when you do, when you truly begin to shift your energy and focus on your own becoming, you don't just change your life, you inspire others to do the same. And that ripple, that's how the world changes. One soul, one shift, one truth at a time. There is something quietly revolutionary about deciding to believe in yourself again. Not just on the good days, when everything is flowing and the path feels clear, but especially on the days when nothing makes sense, when your heart is tired, when the world feels indifferent to your pain. That's when the real work begins. That's when choosing yourself becomes the most radical act of all. Because it's easy to believe when everything is working, but to believe through the waiting, through the grieving, through the rebuilding, that's strength, that's courage, that's grace. There are moments when your heart will ache, when your soul will feel stretched so thin you'll wonder if there's anything left. But even then, there is a light within you that never goes out. It flickers, it dims, but it never disappears. That light is your essence. It is your connection to everything that is sacred, everything that is eternal. And no matter how lost you feel, no matter how far you've strayed from yourself, that light will guide you back every single time. So trust it. Trust yourself. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to figure everything out right now. You don't need a perfect plan or a 5-year vision. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply take the next honest step. Just one. Just enough to keep moving, to keep breathing, to keep believing that life still has beauty to offer you, because it does. It always does, even in the heartbreak, even in the in-between, even when you're standing in the ashes of something you thought would last forever. This moment right now is asking you to listen, not to the noise around you, not to the voices that want to define your worth or dictate your pace, but to yourself, to the soft whisper inside you that knows, that always knows. That voice may be faint, especially if you've spent years ignoring it, but it's there, waiting for you to remember who you are, waiting for you to come home. And coming home to yourself means honoring the full spectrum of your being. It means allowing yourself to be both strong and vulnerable, bold and tender, resilient and tired. You were never meant to fit neatly into boxes. You were never meant to suppress parts of yourself just to belong. True belonging starts within. It starts when you stop abandoning yourself for the approval of others, when you stop shape-shifting just to feel loved, when you realize that real love doesn't require performance, it requires presence. Presence is a gift, not just to others, but to yourself. And it's in the present moment that your power lives. Not in the past where regret lingers, not in the future where anxiety waits, but here, now, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this small sacred second where you get to choose how you show up. And the more you practice returning to this moment, the more you begin to access your true energy, an energy that is not reactive, but intentional, not scattered, but grounded. You don't need to be everything to everyone. You don't need to carry the weight of other people's expectations. Your life is not a performance. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to live fully, deeply, authentically. And that begins when you stop outsourcing your value and start claiming it for yourself. When you stop asking, am I enough? And start saying, I am. When you shift your energy in this way, something inside you unlocks. It's subtle at first. A deeper breath, a softer smile, a decision to speak your truth even when your voice trembles. A boundary drawn, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. These small acts add up. They create a new rhythm, a new frequency. And before you know it, you begin attracting peace instead of chaos, clarity instead of confusion, love instead of longing. Because the energy you radiate is the energy you receive. If you're constantly giving from a place of lack, you'll always feel depleted. But when you give from a place of wholeness, from overflow, everything changes. So fill your own cup first. Nourish your spirit. Tend to your dreams. Prioritize your healing, not because it's selfish, but because it's necessary. The world doesn't need more burnt out, resentful souls. It needs people who are alive with purpose, anchored in truth, fueled by love. And love, real love, begins with self. Not the superficial kind that depends on external validation, but the deep, unshakable kind that remains even when everything else falls away. It's the kind of love that forgives your past, that believes in your future, that embraces your present, that stands with you when no one else does. That kind of love is fierce, it's holy, it's healing, and it is your birthright. There will be days when you forget this. Days when the mirror reflects a stranger. Days when fear feels louder than faith. That's okay, you're human, you're learning, you're growing, and growth is rarely linear. It's messy, it's nonlinear, it comes in waves, but every step, every stumble, every sacred breakdown is part of your rising. Don't judge the process. Honor it, trust it, even when you don't understand it, because on the other side of discomfort is transformation. And transformation doesn't always feel good, but it is always worth it. The caterpillar doesn't become the butterfly in comfort. It dissolves, it breaks down entirely before it becomes something new. You too may feel like you're breaking, but maybe, just maybe, you're becoming. So don't resist the breaking. Don't numb the ache. Let it open you. Let it teach you. Let it strip away what no longer serves you so that you can rise freer, lighter, truer. Every tear, every tremble, every whispered prayer is sacred. Your healing is sacred. Your becoming is sacred. And there is no right way to do it. There is only your way, your pace, your path. There's a quiet power in choosing peace. Not the kind of peace that avoids hard conversations or runs from reality, but the kind that stands in truth, even when it's uncomfortable. The kind that says, I choose to protect my energy, even if that means letting go of what I once held dear. Peace isn't passive, it's an act of courage, a declaration of worth, a choice to no longer participate in your own suffering. You are allowed to outgrow people. You are allowed to evolve beyond your environment. You are allowed to say, this no longer serves me. That doesn't make you ungrateful. That makes you honest. And honesty is liberation. When you get real with yourself, you begin to live in alignment. You stop chasing and start creating. You stop settling and start rising. You deserve a life that feels like yours, not a life you inherited from someone else's expectations, not a life you constructed to impress strangers, but a life that reflects your heart, your values, your essence. And to build that life, you must first build that relationship with yourself. You must become someone you trust, someone you respect, someone you are proud of, even in your most imperfect moments. Give yourself permission to be messy, to not have it all figured out, to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress. That duality is not a flaw. It is a fact of life. You are growing, you are learning, you are remembering how to hold space for all that you are, all that you've been, and all that you are becoming. So, be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself with tenderness. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. And when you fall short, extend grace. You are not your worst day. You are not your biggest mistake. You are not defined by what you've endured. You are defined by how you rise, by how you keep showing up, by how you keep choosing love, even when life gives you every reason to shut down. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how perfect your journey looks. It's about how true it feels. It's about whether or not you honored your soul's calling, whether you loved deeply, whether you laughed freely, whether you cried when you needed to, whether you stood for what mattered, whether you lived with intention, not just obligation. But when you live with intention, when you shift your energy from reaction to creation, you step into a different kind of power. Not the power that dominates, but the power that radiates, that uplifts, that heals, that transforms not just your life, but the lives of those around you. That is the power of presence, the power of authenticity, the power of focusing on yourself, not from a place of ego, but from a place of love. You are not selfish for choosing yourself. You are not wrong for wanting more. You are not broken because you feel deeply. You are human, beautifully, tenderly, divinely human. And that is enough.